you like that?
What's up, my little flowers? Welcome back to hell. Today's topic is something that I've been wanting to make a video on since I first started making K-pop YouTube videos. Firstly, I'd like to address the elephant in the room, which is, if you happen to be a subscriber or you've seen my other videos, you would know that I normally use the classic K-pop YouTube robot voice to talk throughout my videos. I had considered using that in this video as well because I hate the sound of my own voice, as one normally does, but I decided that a more serious topic like this one deserved a bit more than a robotic voice. I don't know if I'll continue using my actual voice in the future. It's honestly up to you guys. I just need to work on sound quality because I know it's atrocious. I mean, I'm literally like whispering because I'm insane. Anyways, that's not what you're here for. Dating in the K-pop industry. That's a big topic to tackle, but I'm gonna try and tell you what I know about it from the history of it, possible reasons for it, the legitimacy of dating bans, dating scandals, the aftermath of those said scandals, and what I personally think companies should do in the future regarding this matter. Keep in mind that a lot of the stuff I'm going to talk about is just my opinions. I'm not trying to get sued here, and I'm probably going to miss a few points because this is such a large topic. If you want to discuss your own opinions or knowledge of the topic in the comments, feel free to do so. But this is my channel, and these are my personal opinions, and it's okay if you don't agree with those. We are entitled to what we believe. Also, I don't know if it's some unspoken rule not to discuss dating bans and scandals, because I am hard-pressed to find videos covering them by K-pop YouTube channels, but if there is some rule, I'm not aware of it. I think as K-pop continues to become bigger and bigger, not just in South Korea, but all over the world, these are issues that need to be discussed because they're ultimately ones that end up costing idols their careers or even taking a massive toll on their mental health. So I'm not talking about this stuff for drama or to ship any members of any groups, but instead to bring awareness to any new fans about the serious issue within the industry structure. So without further ado, let's begin. History of dating in the K-pop industry. So there's actually not a lot of information of dating in between first-gen groups back in the 90s that I could find. Now, I'm not saying that they didn't date, because they most certainly did. It just isn't recorded as much as second or third gen groups have been. We can assume that some form or iteration of the dating ban was probably in practice, considering a few first-gen artists have talked about having to hide relationships. Without the use of smartphones or social media, dating was a lot harder for idols to do in secret back then. So it's my assumption that most of them probably didn't think the risk was worth it, or without social media, fans just couldn't keep constant track of what their favorite idols were doing every hour of every day. So many relationships just simply flew under the radar. So why would idols not be allowed to date? That's the big question here. They're humans, so why couldn't they be allowed to date like anyone else? Big celebrities in America date, and they usually don't face long-term significant backlash for it, so why can't idols do the same thing? Well, in my opinion, the answer is simple: marketing techniques and profits. Let's start with reason number one of the most commonly brought up reasons. They simply have no time to do so. As far as this reasoning goes, I think it can be a valid argument in some cases, but it's not the main reason or heart of the problem here. I have no doubt that K-pop idols have insane schedules. We're all pretty much aware of this. And sometimes they're just so busy with constant promotions, concerts, recording, and producing that the fans themselves have to take it into their own hands to beg the company to give them a break. Many idols barely have time to see their own families, so how could they have time for a significant other? I think that this is something that definitely happens, especially with bigger groups and busier groups. But at the end of the day, these idols are young, and young people develop crushes or fall in love. If they wanted to date, I believe most of them, in theory, could, especially if it was with another idol who could understand the pressures of the industry and the strains it would cause their relationship. So yes, idols are busy, and this is a valid reason for them to want to remain single, but I don't think it's the main reason why so many do. Reason number 2, risk of association. A reason that a company might not want their idols to date is something I'm going to call risk of association. What this basically means is the idol's significant other might be associated with or involved in themselves scandals, whether in the past or yet to be seen future. A company wants to promote an image, typically one that is unproblematic and easy to love. Many of them fail at this. Here's 2 scenarios to break down the risk of association. Number 1, the idol under the company has started dating another idol, or any other celebrity. We'll stick to idols to keep this simple. The relationship is kept a secret, of course, and the other idol is from a different company. This significant other is famous and has their own image. But what happens if that person, their group, or their company does something problematic that causes serious backlash from fans? This can really be anything from a drug scandal to a different dating scandal from another member of their group to cultural appropriation by a member or the company itself. A real-life example that is sort of on the extreme side would be the Burning Sun scandal. Look it up if you're unfamiliar with it. It's horrible. If it comes to light that our hypothetical company's idol is dating the idol that caused or is associated with this thing that pissed off a bunch of fans, then they're also going to face backlash. The idol loses fans and faces hate or even petitions to leave their group or company, and the company therefore loses money in stocks and through sponsorships. Big brands that sponsor so many idols, from technology to fashion to cars, will no longer want anything to do with an idol whose public image is ruined. Therefore, that idol becomes a monetary drain on the company and is often let go or kicked out. Therefore, dating is seen as a risk by companies. Scenario number 2 is pretty much the same, except this time our hypothetical idol is dating a regular person who has a normal job and is in no way famous. If their relationship somehow gets leaked or becomes public, then we all know that fans are going to find every single thing this person has done since they took their first breath. We'll get into that obsessiveness later, but ultimately, if the significant other has ever been involved in anything problematic, it ends up costing the company money. Reason number 3 that companies don't allow or aren't public with their idols dating: mental health risk and time monetary investment wasted. Breakups are hard most of the time. They don't always end perfectly, and usually they leave one feeling pretty sad, sometimes so far as even depressed and unmotivated to do anything. From a company's perspective, it's a huge risk to have idols dating because they could eventually break up. If this breakup is bad enough, then their idol starts to have problems with their mental health, most likely falling into a depression. This is a time or monetary loss for the company because now they have an idol who's putting half of their heart into whatever they're doing, and most companies won't give idols a break to get better and work on their mental health because it's a waste of time and money towards the company, not to mention the whole mental health stigma thing in South Korea. While that's a topic that deserves its own video, we'll leave it for now and just say not many companies handle depressed idols well. Reason number 4, the big one we've all been waiting on: fans. The word idol is a perfect description of what they are. K-pop idols are the textbook definition of what it means to be worshipped like an idol. Companies know this, and they market idols that way on purpose because it rakes in a huge amount of money and an even bigger fan culture dedicated to buying everything that idol touches. But this comes at a price, a pretty heavy one for the idols themselves, and almost no price for the people profiting the most off of the system, the companies. To be an idol almost means to give up being human or anything that makes you seem normal. We see this a lot in idol culture. They usually can't smoke, drink, receive tattoos, although that one has changed recently. They were encouraged to not show signs of weakness or mental health issues, almost like robots, up until a few years ago, until it actually became more beneficial for a company to market an idol as understanding the mental hardships of their fans. And finally, they cannot date. They cannot submit to the trivial concept of love because then that breaks the illusion. Idols are marketed as single, available people who are dedicated to their fans, dedicated to you. So if they were to suddenly appear with a significant other, then that breaks the illusion and trust of the fan. Let's rewind a bit. It's not uncommon to see fans in love with or crushing on their favorite celebrity. It happens pretty much everywhere with pretty much every artist. So I'm not shaming those people, and I'd like to make that very clear. I myself am a female who happens to find men attractive for whatever disgusting reason, so I understand the mentality of crushing on a celebrity. I've read fan fiction, I've been on the fan edit crush train, I get it. But the K-pop industry takes that concept and just markets it on a whole other level, one that can sometimes lead fans into a dark and obsessive spiral. I think it's important to be able to tell the difference between reality and fiction. For example, I have plenty of K-pop idols that I think are attractive, and I've had crushes on them, and continue to do so. But I know that as an ordinary person, I'm never going to actually get to date this person. That's a ridiculous concept. I know where I stand with them. I'm the fan and the consumer. Yes, idols care about their fans very much, a lot more than I've seen a lot of other artists care about their fans. But this care does not equal being in love with you specifically. They likely have never met you, and you have to realize that it's okay to read fan fictions or talk about which member you think is the cutest, but it's not okay to be toxic and possessive. If you truly love this idol as you claim that you do, then you would be happy and support them in their relationship, so long as their significant other isn't a horrible, racist, sexist, homophobic person. You know what I mean. But really, being in love with someone is wanting them to be happy, no matter what, whether it's with you or not. You want to see them healthy and happy. Sadly, there are fans that can't make this distinction. That's where we get dangerous fans or Sexism fans, and I probably totally butchered that, by the way. This voiceover thing is not giving me leniency on pronunciation, but Sexism fans, as they're called in South Korea, take this obsession to a creepy and dark, dangerous place. I'm not going to get into them much because honestly, y'all scare me, but nonetheless, when this obsession drives fans to consider harming themselves or even the idol, it's a very serious matter. I won't get into it because it deserves its own video, because I truly do feel sorry for the mental health issues that many of these types of people are very clearly exhibiting, but because of stigma or a lack of desire for treatment, they simply just fall further into the dark pit of their mind. But I do want to touch on women idols in K-pop being the main ones that face the backlash from dating scandals. This could also be its own video on sexism in the industry as a whole, but we are not opening that box today. We'll just lightly glaze over it. If you notice, women usually face the backlash of dating or cheating issues even outside of K-pop. You see it in day-to-day life when girlfriends blame the other woman as opposed to their own cheating piece of shit boyfriend. More specifically though, in the K-pop industry, this is how I see it. If a female idol is dating, then it can be a mixed bag. If she's not dating someone famous, then she could probably get away with minimal scandal damage, but we also have to consider the massive culture of male fans that become obsessive with wanting to protect a female idol's innocence. Once she enters a relationship, then these male fans can turn on her and call her horrible sexist names, most commonly slut-shaming her or calling her a whore. In the case of boy groups, then their female fans who are obsessive take it out on the girlfriend as opposed to the male idol. Whether the girlfriend is famous or not, she gets horribly bullied to lengths I can't even begin to describe in justice here. And honestly, that whole concept is just people being hypocritical. Like, these same people that are bullying their idol's girlfriend and asking for the idol to be removed from the group if they don't break up would not have that same energy if they were the girl that the idol was dating. Like, make it make sense. You want to date this idol, and if you ever got a chance to, hypothetically, then I'm pretty sure you would want to have people, and more importantly, his fans, support you because you know what and how your relationship is. You know that you're both happy. But when it's another girl, you can't be that fan supporting her? Keep the same energy is all I've got to say. Now, I see a lot of fans saying they aren't upset that the idol is dating, but that they kept it a secret and lied to the fan. Okay, I'm trying not to be judgmental, but literally, why do you think they keep their relationship a secret? It's most likely to protect their significant other from the crazy media and fans that would threaten them. Also, this is my opinion, but I want to make it very clear. I personally don't believe that as a fan, you are entitled to know every aspect of a celebrity's personal life. And I'm talking about even outside of the K-pop industry. You see it literally everywhere. Yes, the fans' love and support are what made the artist famous, and it is the fans who give the artist the money to live and continue making the content that they make. So yes, artists should always be grateful for their fans and remember how they got to where they are today. But in my opinion, being grateful for support does not equal telling every aspect of their lives to fans. There are some things that people who share their entire lives with the world are going to want to keep to themselves, and I think we should respect that instead of hating them if they don't share it with us. Artists are entitled to their private lives. I said what I said. There are many artists that have no problem sharing every aspect of their existence with their fans, and I think that if that's what they want to do, then that's great. Their fan base is really lucky that the artist they support wants to share that with them. But if the artist doesn't want to share everything, I don't think they should be shamed for it. On that note, I'd like to hit a random highlight of the video, which I would like to call BTS dating. So, I'm gonna say it now. I think that BTS is so successful and so big at this point that there is no possible way in hell that they could ever be public with any relationship. I wish that they could, because I would so be down to support them. And of course, none of us know if they're actually in any secret relationships. But I think BTS lies outside of the boy group or girl group rules when it comes to dating publicly. I mean, they've been single for the almost decade of their careers. Literally publicly single the entire time. What goes on behind closed doors we don't know about, and I respect them enough not to sit and make theories about it, but I do think that if any one of them ever came out with a significant other, that person would face backlash and comments unlike we've ever seen. I've been in ARMY since their debut, and I know plenty of ARMYs who would support BTS regardless of this, but for every one ARMY that would support them, I feel like there's another 5 waiting to hate on the person. I mean, at this point, BTS are literal icons, untouchable, so I don't know if they could ever safely date in public without their partner getting physically hurt. And as much as that depresses me, it's what I think is pretty true. Alright, so we've discussed possible reasons that idols don't or aren't allowed to date publicly. So let's talk about dating bans real quick. In my opinion, I don't think dating bans are really real. What I mean by this is that I don't think that they're ever followed. Of course, I know that they're real, JYP being one of the companies that has one, but I think it's another marketing ploy by the company to appease those fans that would get upset about their idol dating. The company tells the fans, no, the idols of this group can't date for 3 years at the very least, and this statement gives fans some weird sense of security. I mean, JYP himself said that he had to change the dating ban from 5 years to 3 years because no one was following it anyways. So there's your proof that these artists don't and are not expected to follow these rules for the most part. I think more so they're encouraged to not date, but if they do, just don't get caught and cause a mess for the company. And we aren't even going to touch the NDAs that people have to sign to be with these idols. Instead, let's discuss some real life examples. Let's look at a few of the real dating scandals and the aftermath of these situations. These are just a few and some of the most well-known examples, and I am by no means even scratching the surface here. Also, get ready for me to butcher literally every single name on this list because I can't pronounce anything. Let's start with Taeyeon and Baekhyun. Sorry if I mispronounced those. So for anyone who might not know these idols, although I'm pretty sure almost everyone knows them, Baekhyun is a member of EXO, a solo artist and a part of Super M, and EXO is easily one of the biggest boy groups in K-pop history. And Taeyeon, a member of Girls' Generation, which was one of the biggest girl groups of all time, and she's a solo artist currently. In 2014, after a news website said that they were secretly dating, they confirmed it, making them SM's first public couple. The backlash was quick and severe. There were, of course, fans that supported them, but there were even more who accused them of ignoring their fans and fellow group members, even going so far as to petition Baekhyun's removal from EXO. They both quickly apologized, and they dated for a year and 4 months until their final breakup. It's a breakup that still crushes many fans of them today. Taeyeon's side is especially sad when you watch her literally apologize for being in love, saying that she was selfish for doing that. That is so beyond screwed up in my opinion. Nowadays, the pair remain friends and label mates, of course, and a few fans speculate that Taeyeon's hit song, Fine, which is a beautiful ballad, is about their breakup. I don't know if that's what it's about, and I don't really want to speculate, because Taeyeon's song could have been about so many other things besides Baekhyun, as she has had a few idol friends who've tragically lost their lives to suicide. Overall, I think Taeyeon's career should remain separate from her relationship with Baekhyun. She's a talented artist by herself, and she doesn't need to constantly have that relationship brought up as a reason for her songs. Another relationship we're all familiar with is EXO's Kai and Blackpink's Jennie. There isn't much information about this relationship, seeing as they broke up pretty quickly after Dispatch made their relationship public. I did see a few fans saying the usual comments of the relationship took away from their jobs and they started to get lazy, which is fucking stupid in my opinion. Another big one is EXO's Chen, who revealed he was not only dating someone, but he was getting married to her and expecting a baby. This was literally the biggest news I've ever seen dropped. And of course, people petitioned his removal from EXO, which thankfully didn't happen. Nowadays, most people I see on social media support Chen and his wife and his daughter that's since been born. Next, Momo from Twice and Heechul from Super Junior. I actually don't know much about this couple because I never really followed Super Junior much, and as I've said before, I really love Twice's music, but I haven't just spent the time to learn the members yet. Again, there were fans that supported them, but also many others that didn't. The main reason people said they didn't like them together was the age gap, which I'll be honest, is kind of big. She's 24 and he's 37, so yeah, it's kind of a big age gap. But in my opinion, while I personally couldn't date someone that much older than me without feeling like we would be in different points in our life and growth, they are both adults, and that's ultimately their own decision. If they want to date, then the age gap is no one's business but theirs. As long as it's a legal age gap, then I think they're fine. Also, we have to realize that these two don't have normal lives. They're huge idols, so while they may be far apart in age, they probably understand each other's struggles well, a lot better than anyone their own age could. As far as they go nowadays, I'm unsure if they're still together, but honestly, it's none of my business. Lastly, I want to cover Hyuna and Dawn. I also probably butchered her name as well, I'm sorry. These two are probably one of the biggest dating scandals to ever happen, and I'm going to be making a whole other video on Hyuna, as I find her so interesting, but I want to do more research and really get her story right first. She was a member of the Wonder Girls for a short period, and later a member member of 4-Minute. These are both huge groups in K-pop. Dawn was a member of Pentagon. The pair eventually came out as dating, and their company, Cube Entertainment, was not happy. They got kicked out, which, to be fair, did cause Cube's stocks to go down, so maybe they had a lot more support than Cube initially thought the pair would have. Nowadays, they're dating and both signed and thriving under Psy. Yes, Gangnam Style, Psy's label, P Nation. Of course, they do still get hate, as anyone would expect, most of it being directed towards Hyuna, saying that she's inappropriate and being a bit much in their relationship. And I'd like to say, shut the fuck up. They're happy and successful, and I couldn't be happier for these two icons. They defied the traditional role of hiding their relationship, as they wanted to be honest with their fans, and they got punished for that honesty. I'm so happy that they're thriving now. I mean, look how cute these two are. So, what do we take from all this? And what do I think is the correct path for companies' dating policy moving forward? For starters, as much as we want to, we can't change the industry and its beliefs overnight. The idea of dating in K-pop is rooted in big business, marketing, mental health, and culture. It'd be a long process to fix, but I think companies could do a few things better to start helping. For one, don't market this idea of dating bans and availability. I know that this plea falls on deaf ears because companies are not going to stop anytime soon. This promise of a perfect idol always being your imaginary fill-in boyfriend or girlfriend makes money, and a lot of it, so companies have no reason to stop. Most of them don't give a shit about their idol's mental health anyway, so whatever makes the most money is gonna be what they do. But I hope that the pressure from fans will start to change companies' ideals. As K-pop gets bigger and bigger, it's no longer in the bubble of Korea or even East Asia. The things that the companies used to be able to do to market, they can't do anymore if they wish to be successful internationally. And before anyone comes in my comments saying that companies don't want international success, yes they do. Why wouldn't they? More fans means more money. It's basic math. Please don't be dumb. Most big companies have talked about marketing overseas anyways, and their inevitable plan to try and take over the music industry, which, if K-pop becomes the biggest genre in the world, as it is on track to be, I'd be a-okay with that. But of course, I think companies have to change. This treatment of idols has proved, unfortunately, to be a successful formula. But we as fans have to look at what it really causes. It traps idols as being one thing for the rest of their lives, and it doesn't allow them to explore love or sexuality freely. And sadly, it does and will continue to affect their mental health, which at times has led to horrible, tragic outcomes. I'm not saying that because companies don't allow their idols to date that we should all stop supporting the genre. That's ridiculous. I just think that we should make a conscious effort to recognize the issues within the industry and be okay with idols dating. We should support artists who are in love rather than punish them, and hopefully, as the industry grows, it'll become more accepting. Also, I'm aware that I didn't mention LGBTQ plus relationships or people in the K-pop industry, and that's kind of because, I think that deserves its own video because it's so much to cover there and I want to do it justice rather than just having it as an extra part of this video. I think it deserves a lot more than that. I did try and go out of my way though to make sure that anytime I talked about a significant other, I said the words significant other or partner rather than girlfriend or boyfriend, so as not to assume any idols' sexualities. I never really want to do that. The only time I specifically used the word girlfriend was when referring to girl groups and women in K-pop and how they get a lot of hatred for dating. That's that. I just thought I'd tell you that I do realize that LGBTQ plus idols probably exist and we just aren't aware of it. I mean, with the amount of idols that there are in the world, it'd be insane if one of them wasn't a part of that community, so I didn't want to just throw it in as a side project of this bigger overarching video. Thanks so much for watching this long rambling essay. If you made it this far into the video, you are amazing. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you like this type of content. I have a few other videos coming up soon that could be pretty interesting. I'm going to be making a review of Chungha's album, so if you're into her, there's that. And like I said earlier, I will be making a video on Hyuna as well, and I also will probably be throwing another unpopular opinions video up soon. If there's any specific type of video you want to see, leave it in the comments below and I'll add it to my list. Thanks so much for your guys' support. I really love reading each and every comment. Also, let me know if your opinion on my actual voice instead of the robot voice. I don't know how I feel about it. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.